It began, like every other case in Judge Judy's courtroom.com, on the surface, but underneath, a storm was brewing. Two former friends, once close enough to share secrets, laughter, and even a roof, now stood on opposite sides of the courtroom, ready to fight over what they both claimed was the truth. On one side stood Ms. Wenzel, a hard-working single mother and homeowner, sharp-eyed but visibly anxious, clutching a stack of printed emails, screenshots, and bank statements as if they were her armor. Across from her stood Mr. Wood, tall, scruffy, confident, the kind of man who thought charm could erase responsibility. Between them, as always, was Judge Judy, whose piercing stare could slice through lies like a blade through glass. The courtroom air was tense, even the audience leaned forward, sensing that what looked like a simple money dispute was about to reveal something darker. Ms. Wenzel, Judge Judy began, her voice as calm as thunder before a strike. "You've known Mr. Wood for how long?" "A long time, Your Honor," she replied, voice trembling just enough to betray a decade of buried emotions. "And your relationship with him?" Judy asked, raising a brow. "It's been other things," she said, pausing as the audience chuckled. "But at that time, we were just roommates." Judy smirked. "So, you're on and off roommates, on and off social, correct? Are you on social time now or roommate time?" Judy teased, "Roommate time," for quite a while. The laughter in the courtroom quickly faded as the truth began to unfold, because this wasn't just about friendship or rent, this was about money, a lot of it. The story went like this. Back in March of 2015, Ms. Wenzel claimed that she had loaned Mr. Wood $8,500 to buy a motorcycle, not just any motorcycle, a shiny, powerful, roaring machine that Mr. Wood swore he could flip for double the profit. He promised he'd pay her back in 3 to 4 months. Tops. To her, it sounded like a good investment in a friend. To him, it was a chance to make fast cash. But promises are cheap when money's easy to borrow. Judge Judy leaned forward, eyes sharp. "Do you remember going to pick up the motorcycle, Mr. Wood?" He shook his head. "No, Your Honor, I don't." "You never went to Sacramento with her to buy it?" He hesitated. "We've gone for motorcycles before, but not that one." Judy crossed her arms. "This particular motorcycle cost $7,500, so it was working, right?" "Well, maybe," he muttered. Judy shot him a glare. "Mr. Wood, you're not a stupid man, are you?" "No, Your Honor." "Then you wouldn't pay $7,500 for a broken bike." The courtroom burst into quiet laughter again, but Ms. Wenzel wasn't smiling. Her jaw tightened, her voice shaking slightly as she said, "He told me it was worth twice that. He said he'd sell it and pay me back with profit. I trusted him." That line, "I trusted him," hung in the air like smoke. Judy nodded slowly, like a hunter circling her prey. "And you took out a loan in your name?" "Yes, Your Honor. A personal bank loan. March 5, 2015. $8,500. Judy's pen froze. "You took on a loan for someone you were roommates with?" She nodded, swallowing hard. "We were close. I thought he'd pay me back." The audience murmured softly. This wasn't a courtroom anymore. It was a story of misplaced loyalty and emotional blindness. Then came the bombshell. "And when did things start to fall apart?" Judy asked. Ms. Wenzel hesitated. "Around the 17th. I called him for the payment, and he said, 'Now's not the time. I don't have time for this.' He got angry. Aggressive." Judy raised an eyebrow. "Aggressive?" "He destroyed my phone, Your Honor." The room gasped. Judy's voice cut through the air. "How?" "He saw a message from my friend Jesse, got jealous, and punched the phone. He was wearing a ring. It shattered." For a moment, even Judge Judy looked stunned. "He broke your phone?" "Yes, because of a text from a friend." "Yes, Your Honor." Judy leaned back, her tone cold now. "Well, that tells me everything I need to know about his character." The courtroom was silent, except for the faint hum of the air conditioner. Ms. Wenzel's hands shook as she scrolled through her old screenshots, proof she had emailed to herself after the phone was destroyed. "I saved the messages, Your Honor. I knew he'd deny it someday." "Smart," Judy said curtly. "Show me." And there it was, the digital trail of trust. Texts showing her at the bank taking out the loan, messages confirming the amount, messages from him promising repayment. Each word was a wound, each message, a piece of her faith in him, slowly fading. But Mr. Wood wasn't ready to surrender. When it was his turn to speak, his tone was defensive, almost mocking. "Your Honor, I never took a dime from her. I buy my own motorcycles. Always have. Judy arched a brow. You didn't take a dime. No, ma'am. You bought a bike in March of 2015. Yes, so you did buy a motorcycle in the same month. She claims she lent you $8,500. Well, yeah, but it's not connected. Judy smiled tightly. Oh, of course not. Just a coincidence that you bought a bike the same week she withdrew that money. The audience laughed again, but beneath the humor, there was tension, that slow, uncomfortable realization that this man wasn't just careless, he was cunning. Mr. Wood, Judy continued, where's the proof that you didn't borrow the money? I don't need proof. She doesn't have proof that I did. Judy's tone sharpened. Oh, but she does. Text messages don't lie. People do. Ms. Wenzel's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of vindication. She had come here to be heard, to be believed. Do you know what's interesting about trust, Mr. Wood? Judy said, her voice lowering. It's a one-way street when one person drives it blindfolded. Then came the counterattack. Mr. Wood pulled out a single sheet of paper. Your Honor, this is for my countersuit. She damaged my car. Tinted windows, exhaust, system. Judy interrupted, unamused. Tinted windows. We're talking about thousands of dollars, and you're talking about tint. The courtroom chuckled again, and even Bird, Judy's bailiff, smirked. But then, Judge Judy turned serious. Let me tell you something, Mr. Wood. I've been doing this for decades. I've seen people lie for less. You used her trust like a piggy bank, and now you're pretending it never happened. That's not just dishonest. That's cruel. Mr. Wood opened his mouth to protest, but Judy raised her hand. Don't speak. The more you talk, the deeper you dig. Silence. Then Judy turned to Ms. Wenzel. Did you ever get a single payment from him? No, Your Honor. Did he ever offer one? No. So he not only borrowed $8,500, but destroyed your phone and ghosted you afterward. Yes, Your Honor. Judy nodded. You've been played, Ms. Wenzel. But today, that stops. The gavel hadn't even dropped yet, and the audience already knew how this would end. Judge Judy stood for truth, and the truth was written all over this case. I find in favor of the plaintiff, Judy said firmly, for the full amount of $8,500. And let me add this, when someone lends you money out of kindness, you don't repay them with broken phones and broken promises. The courtroom erupted in applause. Ms. Wenzel covered her mouth, tears spilling down her cheeks, not of sadness, but relief. Mr. Wood lowered his head, silent, defeated. But outside the courtroom, the story didn't end. Cameras followed Ms. Wenzel as she stepped into the sunlight, her voice steady for the first time. I just wanted him to be honest. It's not about money anymore. It's about respect. Meanwhile, Mr. Wood walked the other way, refusing interviews, muttering to himself about bad luck and crazy exes. But everyone watching knew luck had nothing to do with it. Because this wasn't just about a motorcycle. It was about betrayal dressed as friendship, love disguised as convenience, and the painful truth that not everyone who smiles at you deserves your trust. For weeks after the episode aired, social media exploded. Viewers flooded comment sections with outrage and empathy. She's so strong, one wrote. I hope she gets every penny back. Another added, this is why you never mix money with love. And they were right, because money can buy bikes, cars, or vacations, but it can't buy decency. It can't buy loyalty. It can't buy back in life. Kindness without caution can be costly. Never lend more than you can afford to lose, especially to someone who already owes you honesty. Trust is like glass. Once shattered, it may still reflect light, but it will never be whole again. And as Judge Judy reminds us time and again, in the courtroom of life, the truth always rides back home. Trust, once it's broken,